This is CTV News with Nafisa Kareem.
20 to 25% of our sales are just gone. Just overnight turned off.
Tonight, tariff troubles. Small businesses reeling with a new reality after the U.S. announced it will now collect duties on low-value shipments from across the border. Also ahead.
My intention when I moved out here was to find a family doctor, but I've got no leads on anything.
Care in Cowichan. Can a special vote in council save the dream of a new healthcare clinic and finally bring doctors to the small island community? Plus, Adam finds out what happened after a teenager riding down the Cowichan River heard an unexpected cry for help. Later on the Sawatsky sign-off. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Small businesses are feeling the pinch after the United States started collecting duties on low-value shipments under $800. An Esquimalt hot rod shop is among them, and for now, the owner has decided to pull the plug on shipments south as packages sent to the U.S. drop by more than 80%. CTV's Yvonne Raymond has more.
An Esquimalt hot rod shop is hitting the brakes on shipments bound for the U.S. as new rules take effect.
It's not worth the hassle. I sell a t-shirt for $28 and it was going to be over $30 just to ship it by the time they added all that stuff, the tariffs and taxes and stuff on. And no one's going to pay $60 for a shirt.
He's not the only Canadian company responding to the U.S.'s removal of its de minimis exemption.
Straight loss of 20 to 25% of our sales are just gone. Just overnight turned off.
Tariffs are being charged on foreign shipments valued under $800, unless Canadian companies do the paperwork to prove they're CUSMA compliant.
There's a whole formula to figure that out. So it's not necessarily something that's easy to understand, and it does require the help of an expertise. The easiest way to be CUSMA compliant is that your product is 100% made here in Canada.
The Trump administration has said the old exemption came with less scrutiny on packages, posing risks for the country.
De minimis, it's a big deal. It's a big scam going on.
Last year, more than 1.3 billion low-value parcels were shipped to the U.S., with an estimated $64 billion in value. After tariffs took effect August 29th, postal traffic dropped 81%.
With this whole tariff war, stuff is changing daily, and stuff's getting tariffed one day, and then it's not getting tariffed the next day. So I'm just going to sit it out until it's all, somebody figures out what's going on and makes a plan.
He says his online sales to the U.S. make up about 10% of the business.
I'll be okay, I'll survive, but it's still in Victoria's economy, it's so expensive to live here that you kind of need everything you can get. So we'll just have to, work harder.
Pushing through the sting. Yvonne Raymond, CTV News, Esquimalt.
First, it was the loss of the town's only doctor, and now a healthcare building is on the verge of falling apart. If bad things come in threes, the town of Lake Cowichan has a chance tonight to change course. CTV's Brendan Strain has the story.
At the end of August, the town of Lake Cowichan's last remaining family physician moved to Ontario, closing his practice.
And when did you move from?
April.
5 months earlier, Carla Scheer moved to the small community.
My intention when I moved out here was to find a family doctor, but I've got no leads on anything.
To fill the medical gap, Island Health employs 1.5 nurse practitioners working out of this building, owned by the town, which was built in 1967, called the Katsa Health Center. It's showing its age.
The building is an old, dilapidated building, in my opinion, given what I've seen.
Dave Saunders is a founder of a nonprofit that works with communities to attract doctors and improve community health care. He says he has seen ceiling tiles falling down, and currently there's a sign above the sink warning of non-potable water, not meant for consumption.
Perhaps some old piping, etc. So if that's the problem, certainly we could accommodate improvements there.
In June of 2024, a building permit was issued for this addition to a private residence with the intention of running a new health clinic. Due to a zoning issue around home-based businesses, the town asked the applicant to apply for rezoning for that specific health purpose.
We had one councillor recuse herself for a perceived conflict of interest, so that left 4 councillors. 2
voted for, 2 voted against. And under legislation, a tie vote is a defeated vote.
So I decided as mayor, under my powers afforded to me, to bring it back to tonight for further discussion.
If the vote passes tonight, the mayor says an occupancy permit could be granted for the building by the end of the month.
Hope to one day have a doctor in the community?
Oh, I really hope so.
Then the focus would be to attract a new family physician to the community, something the mayor says has become the town's priority. Brendan Strain, CTV News, Lake Cowichan.
As the school year starts, drivers in Scenic are getting a failing grade for the number of impaired driving incidents over the summer. Scenic police say 92 impaired drivers were taken off the road during July and August this year. 72 of those drivers either refused to give a breath sample or blew a fail, which is the most serious offense. Investigators say the behavior is extremely concerning. However, they also note this summer saw a decline in cases. The same period in 2024, police removed 144 drivers from Scenic roads. Supporters of an old-growth forest blockade in the Walbrown Valley gathered outside the BC Supreme Court this morning as a logging company was inside seeking an injunction to remove protesters.
It's the bottom line for them. It's shareholders, it's short-term gain. It's all of that, and our whole society is imbued with that mentality. And we can't keep going like that. We have to stop.
Protesters set up a massive wooden cougar on August 25th to block logging trucks from the area that's home to one of Vancouver Island's last intact old-growth watersheds. The forestry company is asking for a one-year injunction. If granted, it would force the removal of the blockade and the cougar. Refusing to comply could lead to arrests. Strike action from the BCGEU escalated in Nanaimo and Victoria today, with dozens more provincial employees walking off the job. The BCGEU says nearly 200 employees in Nanaimo have joined the picket lines at 2 provincial buildings on Labio Road. Those staffers join roughly 4,000 government employees across the province who are on strike, and they say they plan to stay out until they get a fair wage deal.
We are ready to go back to the table, as we stated, but we are willing to be here as long as it takes to get that deal for workers across the province. The public servants of this province keep our communities running, and they need to be able to afford to live in the communities that they service.
The strike has now stretched into its second week. The BCGEU is seeking a 4% raise in 2025, followed by a 4.25% increase in 2026. The government's most recent proposal was 1.5% in year 1 and 2% in year 2, an offer the union says 93% of members rejected. The movie theater in Port Alberni will be under new ownership by next month. The Port Alberni branch of the Canadian Mental Health Association will be managing the theater. The current owner, Landmark Cinemas, will cease operations in a couple weeks. And on October 1st, the theater will get a new name, reopening as the Savoy. The CMHA says the theater will be managed as a social enterprise and will see revenue from movie showings help fund its programs in the Alberni Valley. The current staff will have the option of staying on, and you'll still be able to see new releases as well as classics and foreign films.
We have a spectrum of service currently that serves thousands of people every year, and this will allow us some more flexibility with how we're able to serve them. We would also like to diversify what we're doing as well, and being independent, we might be able to do a number of special offerings, and so we're working on that and seeing what we can offer.
The first film that will be played under CMHA's management will be Downton Abbey, the grand finale. The University of Victoria is being recognized for its role in helping to advance post-secondary education for Indigenous youth. The university is being awarded a total of $5 million from the MasterCard Foundation to aid in the school's funding of Indigenous-led initiatives and leadership. It's part of a $235 million campaign from MasterCard that hopes to make meaningful strides in the education and advancement of Indigenous reconciliation. UVic says the donated funds will be managed by the school's Office of the Vice President Indigenous to ensure the continued implementation of its 2023 Indigenous Plan.
From our local nations, they've told us that their number one priority is language revitalization. And I think that this will definitely be able to enhance those programs. I think it'll also offer us opportunities to think about creating new innovative ways of supporting Indigenous youth and leadership, and to really think about the needs, the self-determining needs of the nations, not just in the Victoria area, but throughout the province and across Canada.
30 post-secondary institutions across Canada received funding from the MasterCard Foundation in recognition of their achievements and impacts as they continue their path toward reconciliation through education. Still ahead, Israel targets Hamas by attacking Qatar.
It certainly is an escalation of this war.
How the assault impacts the war in Gaza and how world leaders are reacting after the break.
20 degrees in Victoria after hitting a high of 22 today. Should see a good amount of sunshine in the coming days. Full look at your forecast after the break.
CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Make the most of your next vacation by booking with those who've been there. Visit expediacruises.ca.
West Shore Youth, looking for a fun spot to hang out? Youth nights are here. Skating, art, swims, and a place to chill. Staff-led and supervised for a safe, inclusive vibe. Check out wspr.ca for more info.
All right, Josh, we talked about the warm-up yesterday. How long can we expect this to last for?
You know what? Temperatures look like they're going to be right around or just slightly above average right through the rest of this week and into the weekend. Looks pretty dry for most of the rest of this week around Victoria and Nanaimo as well. Other parts of the island, you will see some scattered showers. We get to 22 for a daytime high today, 21 right now in Victoria. Port Alberni's a little cooler than yesterday at 26 degrees this afternoon. We can see skies are fairly clear across most areas. You do have a bit of cloud cover here, though, further to the north, and it might be a couple pockets of drizzle in through parts of the west coast and northern parts of the island, but really no significant organized rain. You notice there's no big system that's set to come through, and so for most of the island for tomorrow afternoon, there should actually be a good amount of sunshine, and that includes the north. I think by tomorrow afternoon, you'll see the sun break through the clouds. It will be a little breezy again, gusts to about 40 kilometers per hour, high of 17 tomorrow. Cloudier Thursday, and then there's a chance of showers late Thursday night into Friday, and then some steadier rain in the forecast for Saturday into early Sunday. Inland areas, 26 degrees and no weather tomorrow. I don't know what happened to the icon there. Should be mainly sunny tomorrow. Mainly sunny as well on Thursday. 24s Thursday, Friday. Chance of showers on Sunday and a high of 20. Out on the west coast, cloudy with a few sunny breaks, 18 degrees. As we mentioned, there will likely be a little bit of fog patches through the morning hours. Maybe a couple areas where you get a little bit of drizzle. Most areas should just be mostly cloudy, though. Cloudy skies, 17s for Thursday, Friday, and then some rain on the way for the weekend. Sunshine in Comox, 23 degrees tomorrow and Thursday. A little closer to the 20-degree mark by Friday and through the weekend. That'll put you back to around average. 23 or 24 for highs with mainly sunny skies in Nanaimo tomorrow and Thursday. Some increase in cloud through the day Friday, and then mixed sun and cloud for Saturday, Sunday. Maybe a little bit cloudier Sunday compared to Saturday. Highs of 20, which is right on par with the seasonal averages. And in Victoria, we'll see temperatures in that 20-degree range by the weekend as well. A 22 for a daytime high today. We'll be in the same ballpark tomorrow, 21 or 22. Partly cloudy skies. Again, the wind is going to be a non-factor tomorrow. 21 or 22 and mainly sunny skies on Thursday. And then this does not look like really thick cloud for Friday, Saturday, but a bit of cloud cover. Sunday looking a little more overcast and maybe even some showers late in the day on Sunday. We'll see how that plays out and develops over the course of the next couple of days. Dry and mild, though, for the next 3 or 4 days. CTV weather is brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So nothing too hot in Nafisa, just smooth sailing the next couple of days.
Sounds good. Thanks, Josh. Well, massive explosions have rocked the Qatari capital of Doha, with Israel calling it an assault against the senior leadership of Hamas. It is an unprecedented attack, but not the first time Israel has gone after the masterminds behind the October 7th massacre. CTV's Adrian Gobriel now with the shocking international airstrikes.
Smoke paints the sky black on a dark day in Doha.
It certainly is an escalation of this war.
The deadly daylight air assault is believed to be Israel's first ever inside Qatar. This Hamas residence, now left with a gaping crater in the capital, is said to have been the target, just as the latest ceasefire proposal was being considered. Hamas says that 5 of its members were assassinated in the attack, including the son of exiled chief Halil al-Hayya. Though al-Hayya, seen here, who is believed to be the prime target, has survived according to Hamas.
These are the same terrorists who planned, terrorist chiefs who planned, launched, and celebrated the horrific massacres of October 7th.
As Israel's prime minister took responsibility, the attack is sending shockwaves across the international community.
I condemn this flagrant violation of the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Qatar.
Britain's prime minister saying the priority must be an immediate ceasefire, the release of hostages, and a huge surge in aid into Gaza. In Israel, the families of hostages believe today's airstrikes may have sealed the fate of their loved ones.
Crushes the hopes of all the families. It's just, it's devastating.
There were several days ago warnings from the Israeli Defense Forces Chief of Staff that Israel was going to start targeting Hamas's leaders no matter where in the world they might be.
Israel's air assault in Doha comes after Hamas's armed wing claimed responsibility for shooting and killing 6 people on Monday at this bus stop in the outskirts of Jerusalem. The latest escalation comes as Israel issued an evacuation order today for residents in Gaza City, with the IDF sharing its intentions for a full-scale operation. The military maneuver reportedly involved 15 Israeli fighter jets firing 10 separate airstrikes on one single target. Adrian Gober, CTV News, Toronto.
It seems like ads for gambling are everywhere during a sports broadcast. Now health experts are sounding the alarm, saying it's time for guardrails in order to protect younger minds.
Well, since the changes in legislation, we've seen a barrage of advertising, and we're all sort of awash in the new reality of constant ads for gambling websites during sports broadcasting. And this sort of came to my attention first when my, at the time, 7-year-old son asked me what the difference between a plus minus and an over-under was.
Experts say child and teen brains are still developing, and the constant exposure to gambling normalizes harmful behavior that they could carry into adulthood. This was published in the Canadian Medical Association Journal this week. A bill to regulate sports betting advertising has been introduced in the Senate, and the study co-authors say if passed, it would be a good start to addressing the problem. Coming up, river rescue. Adam finds out what happened after an island teenager heard a baby beaver crying for help. That's next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off.
A trusted voice focused on Vancouver Island first.
Good news for tourism.
Sharing stories.
We're here in Esquimalt Lagoon
that hit closest to home.
Housing is a growing issue. What's your plan?
Watch weekdays at 4:30 and at ctvnewsvancouverisland.ca.
Farabee. It's the Great Grocery Giveaway. ATs, how would you like to win a $2,000 smile card from Thrifty Foods? Today's code word is quiche. Text the code word to 71010 for your chance to win.
Finally, Adam finds out what happened after a family riding down the Cowichan River heard an unexpected cry for help on the Sawatsky Sign-Off.
Look at that. Connor Belanger and his mom Liz don't need to look at pictures from their recent tubing trip to remember the sound they'll never forget.
Kind of high-pitched squeaking sound that I've never heard before.
Liz was moving down the river too fast to see where it was coming from, but Connor was far enough behind to spot something struggling in the rapids and reached out to help.
Slowly, kind of clawed its way up into my palm, with its front heft, and then I scooped it up.
But it wasn't until it was safely in his arms that Connor saw its tiny tail and realized he'd saved a baby beaver.
It felt awesome, and I felt super protective of it immediately.
And he just held on and let us kind of look. And
After it stopped breathing heavily, the baby started falling asleep in Connor's arms. And for the next hour, until they reached their pickup point downriver, they cuddled close.
Just has so much empathy for animals.
When they got to shore, they marked the specific location where they'd found the beaver on a map and started reaching out for someone official to help the baby they'd named Chip.
She would open her little eyes, look around, and then snuggle back in, just take care of me.
The family took turns cradling the baby, as they drove an hour and a half out of their way to the North Island Wildlife Rescue Association.
It was really good that they found it when they did.
Joanna Smith says the baby was just a week old and likely swept out of her den before floating too far downriver for her family to find her.
Without Mom, there's no way she would have survived.
But after a few weeks in care, the beaver, now renamed Little Timber, is thriving.
Oh, she's a busy beaver.
Well, the beaver is expected to be released back into the wild in about 18 months. Liz and Connor will likely be looking back fondly on their time with Little Timber forever.
And like such a Canadiana experience. Like we rescued a baby beaver.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Saanich.
Very Canadian. Well, that is it for CTV News Vancouver Island. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night. Today on CTV News, the man charged in a triple stabbing takes the stand in his own defense. What he says led him to attack 3 people at a festival in Chinatown with a chisel. Also tonight.
Our resolve is strong, our morale is high, and we're willing to stay out as long as it takes.
The strike by BC government workers escalates. Will picket lines affect the public, or will both sides return to the bargaining table? And
knocked on the door, and a strange person opened the door. Like, who are you?
how a Vancouver condo owner discovered his tenant had listed the unit on Airbnb, but the company refused to remove the listing until we got involved.
This is CTV News with Nafisa Kareem.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. It was heralded as a historic agreement on Aboriginal title last spring. The opposition BC Conservatives are now raising concerns about what it could mean for private property rights. CTV's Legislative Bureau Chief Rob Buffum joins us live from Victoria with more. Rob.
Nafisa, the BC Supreme Court basically last Friday affirmed the agreement between the government and the Haida Nation that recognized Aboriginal title to Haida Gwaii. That declaration came down last Friday, reinforcing the celebration that took place last April when the agreement was signed. The agreement acknowledges Aboriginal title across Haida Gwaii, but it also explicitly sets out that fee simple private property and public infrastructure will continue intact. The BC Conservatives say they worry what would happen if the Haida Gwaii changed their mind about the deal, given that Aboriginal title is recognized in the Constitution and fee simple rights are not. The NDP and Haida Nation say the agreement, in fact, provides greater certainty and call this fear-mongering.
Private property rights are not protected by our Constitution, whereas Indigenous rights are. And that means that we do not know the full extent across British Columbia of what your private property rights will be when compared to Indigenous rights under Section 35 of our Constitution.
Making an agreement with Haida is about creating certainty here on Haida Gwaii, and that's for private property owners, that's for business owners, that's for the Haida themselves, that's for everybody.
The court's decision affirming the deal comes on the heels of the controversial Cowichan Tribes case that found Aboriginal title and private property fee simple rights coexist, and Aboriginal title is senior. The NDP government is appealing that decision. The Visa expect these issues of Aboriginal title to feature large this fall. They return for the legislative fall session on October 6th. Nafisa.
Rob, thank you. To return next month, and new data shows our premier's approval rating is slipping. The survey released today from Angus Reid says David Eby's approval has dropped for a second consecutive quarter, down 5 points from June and 12 points from March. This is the lowest rating he's got since being elected. Leading the pack with a 61% approval rating is Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew. Quebec Premier François Legault is the least popular premier in the country with just a 22% approval. The man accused of stabbing 3 people in Vancouver's Chinatown in 2023 took the stand today in his own defense. CTV's Ben Nesbitt has more from BC Supreme Court in Vancouver and a warning. Some of the details are disturbing.
Blair Donnelly's defense team says while he's admitted to the stabbings, his state of mind will be the central issue. The 66-year-old told the court he believes it was his deep religious faith that led him to carry out the attacks.
I believed I was being prompted by God to hurt somebody that day, he said. Donnelly was on a day pass from the Colony Farm psychiatric facility where he's been held since killing his daughter in 2006. Under direct examination from his lawyer, Donnelly said his plan was originally to go to Waves Coffee Shop in Coquitlam, but shortly after he left the facility on his e-bike, he was prompted by God to go to Chinatown. On the way there, he stopped at Home Depot to buy a chisel, which he says he bought instead of a knife, because he thought God wanted him to hurt someone but not kill them. Donnelly says when he eventually arrived at the festival, he took his time scoping out possible victims before ultimately going through with it, stabbing 2 women and 1 man. He's pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of aggravated assault.
Donnelly's lawyer said he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, atypical version. The doctor who made that diagnosis is expected to testify later in the trial. Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, Vancouver.
The strike by provincial government workers is growing, with more than 20 picket lines up across British Columbia. So far, the impact has been mostly limited to government offices, but union leaders warn the public could soon feel the effects. CTV's Reagan Hasegawa has the latest.
Correctional officers are deemed an essential service, meaning most of them are inside the Surrey pretrial center still working. But a small number of them are legally striking outside, and that's enough to slow things down. Sheriffs arriving today to pick up or drop off prisoners for court were stopped and told they need a special pass to cross the picket line.
Intentional acts which interfere with persons having duties to discharge in a court of justice, which is not a physical location, it's a service, including parties, witnesses, jurors, and officers of the court, constituted contempt of court.
The union says job action now spans 22 locations and involves more than 4,000 workers. Picketers are out in Victoria, Nanaimo, Kamloops, Kelowna, Cranbrook, and here in Surrey. They're demanding higher wages, 4% this year and just over 4% next year. Government's last offer was much lower, 1.5% in year 1, 2% in year 2. Negotiations have been stalled since July. Both sides remain far apart.
We have an affordability crisis for all our members. Look, a wildfire fighter tops out at $28 an hour. Most of the public doesn't know that. 50% of our members are living paycheck to paycheck. 22% of them have to work 2 jobs, and that includes corrections and sheriffs. We have a recruitment and retention problem. That needs to be fixed. So, our resolve is strong, our morale is high, and we're willing to stay out as long as it takes.
Union leaders say for now they focus their picket lines on targeted government offices to minimize the impact on the public, but they warn without a new wage offer, the escalation could start to impact the services that everyday British Columbians rely on. Reagan Hasegawa, CTV News, Surrey.
Still ahead, a local soccer league calls offside after a second year of having nowhere in Vancouver to practice. Plus,
in previous World Cups, this first phase will be open to everybody, literally everyone. Apply for tickets.
how to boost your chances of getting a shot against thousands of soccer fans from around the world when FIFA kicks off World Cup ticket sales tomorrow. We'll be back.
25 plus yards out. Former Marseille man on loan. It reaches.
Former Vancouver Whitecap Derek Cornelius scoring this magnificent free kick to give Canada a 1-0 victory today against Wales in an international friendly. It's the first time ever Canada's men's side have won consecutive games in Europe. Excitement is building for the upcoming World Cup with the first phase of ticket sales set to open tomorrow. So how do you secure a ticket? Well, it's not as easy as clicking add to your online shopping cart.
In previous World Cups, this first phase will be open to everybody, literally everyone. Apply for tickets and then see if you're going to be accepted to the application. This time, they are restricting it to Visa card holders only, credit card, debit card, or reloadable prepaid card. So that's really kind of a first here.
Visa card holders can enter a draw from tomorrow until September 19th. If you win that, you'll get a dedicated date and time slot to buy your tickets in October. But you're not guaranteed a specific match. It's all subject to availability. Navarro says if you miss out, there will be other opportunities to snag a ticket. And while World Cup mania is about to sweep the region, some of the region's poorest are having a tough time playing the beautiful game. A Vancouver soccer club is struggling to get a few hours of field time despite the millions of dollars being poured into next year's big event. For a decade, the Vancouver Street Soccer League practiced at Strathcona Field on Sundays. Last year, the park board told them they were no longer allowed to use it, and they've done the same again this year. Many of the players are recent refugees or have faced homelessness. They say the practices are a lifeline to community connection.
If there are things in the city that are actually making a difference in people's lives, like it did in my life, I think those things should be given priority.
I think if we can make it happen, it will be much better. Not just for me, but for everyone, because we really enjoy here.
The Vancouver Park Board says it's a matter of field conditions since the Strathcona Oval has poor drainage during the rainy fall and winter months. They claim they are looking for options despite the issue dragging on for more than a year. Seems like ads for gambling are everywhere during a sports broadcast. Now health experts are sounding the alarm, saying it's time for guardrails in order to protect younger minds.
Well, since the changes in legislation, we've seen a barrage of advertising, and we're all sort of awash in the new reality of constant ads for gambling websites during sports broadcasting. And this sort of came to my attention first when my, at the time, 7-year-old son asked me what the difference between a plus minus and an over-under was.
Experts say child and teen brains are still developing, and the constant exposure to gambling normalizes harmful behavior that they could carry into adulthood. This was published in the Canadian Medical Association Journal this week. A bill to regulate sports betting advertising has been introduced in the Senate, and the study co-authors say if it's passed, it would be a good start to addressing the problem. Still ahead, a battle with Airbnb. A condo owner discovered his tenant had listed his suite, but the short-term rental site wouldn't remove it. We'll show you what happened when CTV got involved. Taking a live look from our tower cam. I believe that is the top of Grouse Mountain. A little bit of haze there, but we know it's not smoke. Let's check in with Caroline. How's it looking in the weather department?
It's looking pretty good. And as you said, that is not smoke, just kind of some lingering haziness. And if you like today, you're going to love the rest of the week because it's going to be pretty much a carbon copy. But first, let's take a look at the serious news here, the weather alerts. A severe thunderstorm watch is in effect for much of the central interior. That is not expected to last through tomorrow. The special air quality statement for Caribou and the eastern part of the province is expected to last through tomorrow. So let's take a look at the forecast for tomorrow, shall we? Beginning with the southern interior, some hazy conditions. Kamloops, mix of sun and cloud and 28 degrees. Nelson, high of 26, mix of sun and cloud for the region. And again, as you saw there, special air quality statement still in effect for the central part of the province. Prince George, Quesnel, Williams Lake expect more hazy conditions tomorrow. High in the low to mid 20s. Bella Coola, high of 23 degrees under mainly sunny skies. Fort Nelson, high of 22 degrees. As you head toward the coast, the clouds increase. Masset will see a high in the low 20s. To the North Island, Port Hardy, overcast day tomorrow, 17 degrees. Campbell River, Comox, nothing but sunshine, high of 23. Varying degrees of sun and cloud for the lower island. 18 in Tofino, 23 in Nanaimo. As for the Sunshine Coast, you're going to see the sunshine tomorrow. Powell River and Sechelt, easy for me to say, 22 degrees. Whistler, mainly sunny, 25. Towards Pemberton, it's going to be 28 degrees. Squamish, 24 for the lower mainland, between 20 and 23 degrees. Some clouds in the morning, clearing as the day goes on. You'll see a mix of sun and cloud. And with the humidex, it's going to feel closer to 25 to 27 degrees tomorrow. And as I said, towards the end of the week, kind of a carbon copy of today. Mix of sun and cloud, morning cloud, and evening sun, and highs in the low 20s.
All right. Lather, rinse, repeat. Thanks,
exactly.
Caroline. Well, a Vancouver man who leased his downtown condo to a long-term tenant was shocked to find the unit was listed on Airbnb. And despite his pleas, the short-term rental company didn't immediately take the fraudulent listing down. Shannon Patterson has this CTV News exclusive.
Hossein Tavakoli is preparing to list his furnished downtown Vancouver condo for rent.
I'm always looking for long-term tenants. It's less hassle for me. It's compliance with city rules.
His last tenant seemed legit when he signed a one-year lease back in April.
I did my due diligence. He had pay stubs, good financial records. All seemed to be fine.
But Tavakoli became concerned last month when his emails to the tenant bounced back and the man's cell number was disconnected. So on August 19th, he decided to pay him a visit at the condo.
Knocked on the door, and a strange person opened the door. Like, who are you? Oh, we have rented here. From whom? They were hesitant. We were told not to tell. I said, no, I'm the owner of this unit. I need to know. And they said, it's Airbnb.
Tavakoli learned his 625-square-foot condo was listed on Airbnb by someone named Kevin to accommodate up to 10 guests at a time.
I didn't find the listing myself. I got it from one of the guests.
While not all the photos were from his unit, guests who booked this listing were directed to stay in Tavakoli's condo, and there were reservations well into December. With his so-called tenant unresponsive, Tavakoli first reached out to Airbnb on August 21st.
They consider the owner as a third party. I explained to them that, no, I'm not the third party. I own the unit which has been illegally rented on your platform.
Tavakoli says he kept getting the same emailed response from Airbnb, telling him to take the matter up with his tenant, who he couldn't reach, or the host, who he didn't know.
I think I sent them more than 8 or 10 emails. All the answers were the same boilerplate text.
Frustrated the fraudulent listing had not been removed, Tavakoli contacted CTV News, and we reached out to Airbnb with a list of questions. In an emailed statement, the company replied, "We make clear in our terms of service that all hosts must confirm they have permission to list a space, including having the correct permissions from landlords and are following local laws and regulations prior to listing a home. While issues are rare, we investigate these reports and in this case have removed the listing and suspended the host."
So how they called it a verified address at the first place, right? So either they are not following their own policies, there are not enough checks and balances, there is something wrong.
When he rents the condo this time, Tavakoli is telling prospective tenants he'll periodically drop by with the required 24 hours notice, which would likely ruin any scheme to list it on Airbnb. Shannon Patterson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Still ahead, cloudy with a chance of delicious. We've got your foodie forecast coming up. Plus,
easy. You better.
Forget a wild goose chase. This is a wild boar chase. How some officers got a run for their money after this little piggy bust his way into a man's house. And where else? Florida. Well, that fun music means it's time to dig into the foodie forecast. That's our segment on restaurants that are opening soon or closing their doors.
We kind of tell the Vancouver version of the evolution of the izakaya.
That's Chef Benedict Lim of Lunch Lady dishing the details on a new izakaya coming to Commercial Drive. He'll be in the kitchen at Nomo Nomo, which is slated to open September 17th. The name comes from a Kansai Japanese expression meaning, do you want a drink? The 26-seat space is a tribute to Japan's late-night bar scene. The stars of the menu include Wagyu steak tartare and a red crab egg salad sandwich. One of Ontario's favorite spots for chicken for more than 35 years is opening its first BC location in Vancouver. Claiming to be Canada's best chicken wing restaurant, Wings Up offers 18 different flavors from sweet to spicy and a $10 sandwich of the day combo. Wings Up opens its doors at the corner of Kingsway and Rupert on September 20th. Remy Patisserie is closing its doors in Fairview after 5 years. The spot is known for Asian-influenced French pastries like matcha mochi eclairs and pineapple pandan cream puffs. Yum. You have until October 12th to try one. The owner is selling the business to move to Japan. Now with a preview of CTV News at 6, Mi Jung Lee.
Nafisa, the Haida Nation is celebrating a landmark decision on Aboriginal title. The BC Supreme Court has recognized full Aboriginal title for the Haida Nation over all of Haida Gwaii, but the BC Conservatives say it creates uncertainty over private property rights. And a new Harry Potter attraction planned for Stanley Park is sparking debate. 2 city councillors are asking the park board to reverse the decision because of author J.K. Rowling's history. Why they want the event canceled. And a family's emotional appeal to find a missing Indigenous woman whose car was found burned. Back at 6. Nafisa?
Thanks, Mi Jung. Bystanders help rescue a deputy dangling from an overpass as a boar leads police on a hog-wild chase. Plus, the family's 108-year-long boy streak comes to an end with Take a Look at This. Here's CNN's Jeremy Roth.
Watch Good Samaritans rush to rescue a deputy left dangling from a highway overpass after a crash. The frightening scene unfolded in Lubbock, Texas, where authorities say 2 deputies were outside their vehicles assisting a stranded motorist when a semi-truck collided with their cruiser, pinning them against the guardrail. One was left hanging upside down from the bridge. Witnesses from a nearby gas station reportedly heard the crash and rushed to the scene to help with the rescue. Lubbock County Sheriff's officials say both deputies and a civilian were transported to a local hospital with injuries, but all are expected to recover. In Florida, some deputies found themselves in harm's way, but in this curious case, harm happened to be a big, bad-tempered boar.
You better stop it.
WFTX reports deputies responded after homeowners said the wild boar crashed through a glass door and then had a tense 45-minute standoff with them in their living room. When the fuzz showed up, that got the pig-headed prowler moving. It went hog wild, charging at deputies who lured it outside, where it eventually escaped into some woods. Now that's a call that's anything but boring. Never mind, man. Finally, a big first for a first responder in Texas. Montgomery County firefighter Michael Sherman and his wife are expecting a newborn baby girl, and they say she'll be the first female born into the family in 108 years. KTRK reports for generations the Sherman family has had only baby boys, a stretch so impressive they plan to see if it's some kind of record. But in the meantime, this couple says they are happy to break the streak.
Bringing a baby girl into the world finally after over 100 years, it's amazing.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Now, this next story, you used to be a server, but probably not to this extent. This man is trying to break his own world record. It kind of spilled right out of his hands, though. A huge crowd gathered to watch Germany's Oliver Strumpfel try to carry 31 steins of beer for more than 40 meters. Unfortunately, one mug tumbled after 15 meters, and as his concentration slipped, well, so did more mugs. Now, he's not crying over spilled beer here. He's still the world record holder, having carried 29 pints in 2017. Guess they're gearing up for Oktoberfest.
I mean, he can just drown his sorrows in what didn't fall on the ground. There you go. All right, let's take a look at our Scenic snapshot. A beautiful photo from Comox. Thank you, Beverly, for sending this in. If you want your photo featured, email us, scenicSnapshot@ctv.ca.
Gorgeous sunset. Mi Jung will be back for CTV News at 6. Right now, here is Sandy Ronaldo with CTV National News. Have a great evening.